What's up, sons? It's Blind with Son of a Tech once again, and today I have yet another how-to. If you followed my Pyrin node guide, welcome to part 2, which is going to show you how to solo mine to your node. Of course, this will require a significant amount of hash rate to find blocks at a regular interval, so check the network difficulty before you decide to perform this and compare it to the amount of hash rate that you currently have. The advantage here is that you will not be paying a pool fee in this particular case, so you get to retain a little bit more of your mining income, as well as you get to gamble a little bit on finding more blocks than would be expected on a pool for your regular payouts. There's always advantages and disadvantages, but let's go ahead and get into how to do it right now. Welcome back, everyone. So as you may be aware, we already had, once again, the guide for you guys on how to build the node. Today, we're going to talk about how to build out the stratum. So to get the stratum, we are going to do that wget command again, and I'll leave a link to the release of the node down in the description. And you can right click and copy that URL out of there and then paste it into your PuTTY session and press enter. Once that is complete, we are going to create a new directory and we're going to name it bridge, just to put all of those files into. And then we're going to utilize the tar command to extract those files into that new directory. So we have xzf to unpack that .gz file. And then we have a -C to denote which directory we want to expand it to. And then a tilde, which says our current home directory. And then bridge, which is the new directory that we created, and we press enter and it will ask for our sudo password. We'll press enter. And at this point, we're going to change directory into the bridge folder, run an ls, and you can see we have the bridge file here. Next, we need to edit the config.yaml file. So we will basically do a sudo nano config.yaml and press enter. And this is where we can set up our configuration. The first thing that you'll take a look at is the stratum port. This will be the port that you connect your miner to. And you will connect to essentially the IP of this machine and then to that in particular. If you're trying to mine from an external machine, you will need to go into your external firewall and route that port to the internal port and IP. We can cover that in a different video. I don't have a home lab to show you that on right now, so we're doing this all locally. And once you have that set, you can also just ensure that you have the correct PyPad address. If your node is not on this machine, but on a different machine, you'll need to replace the IP address with the external machine that you're wanting to connect the stratum to that node, and that is what sets there. Provided all this looks good, you can just press Control X and exit. And then from here, we are going to create a screen to run this in. You could also create a service for this, like I do at my home farm, or at my main farm, excuse me, so that it starts up with the node at the same time. And if there's a reboot or something like that, it'll all come back up on its own. We're going to press enter after we do a ./LOL bridge. But before we do that, let's go ahead and create a screen. I did forget that step. So screen -S, and we're going to just name it bridge to make it easy. And then once we are in here, we're going to do the ./LOL_bridge_PYI and press enter. As long as we're in that directory, it will come up and it will give us the status and if it's running and so on. So from here, it's actually pretty easy to go ahead and connect to, but what we want to do first is Control-AD and run an IP space A and grab the IP off of our ETH0 adapter. You can see here it's 172.29.60.178. Provided we have that, we can go ahead and move on over to our batch files for whichever miner we're utilizing. Rigel miner is the example today. We'll right click and say edit, and the things that we want to change is going to be over here, and we basically want to highlight this IP here and paste it right here. We'll remove that Ooh, we'll leave the stratum there, and then we're going to change the port to 5555, which was in the config file. And then we have our wallet address. Remember, we created that wallet address when we created the node. So we're going to copy that wallet address out here and paste it into the PYI wallet. Oops, I accidentally did a copy instead of a paste there. So we'll put our wallet address right here. And then we'll do a file and save. And then to reconnect to the bridge, we'll do screen-R and bridge. And you can see here it's showing no workers or anything like that, but we're about to change that. We're going to double click our batch file. I'm going to tell Windows to go ahead and run it anyways, and we will connect. And what you'll notice here is it says now we have one worker connected. It'll report the hash rate here on your average hash rate, the rig name. If you want to change it, of course you can over here by changing it after the dash W. And then over here on the right, it will show the blocks and basically how many blocks you found. If you are mining on Hive OS, it's as simple as just changing, the server port and the server IP and port over to that within your Hive config. That is covered in more detail over on sonofatech.locals.com, where I have a written guide for this if you need to look at the specific configuration. And this is currently an RTX 4090. It looks like stock. It's doing about 21.37 gigahash a second. It's starting to report that as well in here. Once you find a block, it'll show it here. And then, of course, you can always do your Pyrin wallet balance command that we talked about in the previous video. And if it found one, it will actually say pending, and it'll give you the pending amount that's coming in. And that is how you can see if you're actually getting paid out. The current block reward is 17, and that is pretty much it. So there you go. There's how to create the bridge and mine to your own node on Pyrin. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, hit the like, comment, subscribe, and notification bells down below. Don't forget to check out the crypto mining e-course at sonofatech.com. And you can also become a supporter at sonofatech.locals.com, where I post the article guides, etc. over there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Tuesday.